No, stupid bitch. The world has benefited from colonization. It's been a good thing for less developed people.
All right, the notorious Andre, who's a coward and talks down to women, you know. And it's okay. You might say something back to me or might not. I might not be on your level as far as you're concerned. Don't really care. And ad hominem usually shows, hopefully you know what ad hominem is. It usually shows that somebody suffers from Dunning-Kruger effect and really cannot actually apologize or have proper apologetics or debate, right? Because you're trying so best to basically say your mama by calling her a stupid bee rather than actually coming up with something factual. Now, really, if we be honest with you, what you're doing is basically just sucking up to so-called white persons. As a so-called black person, you believe you need to suck up to them. And it's very apparent because you said everything that were talking points for your oppressors to make sure that you can continue to shuck and jive and make whatever little salary you're making off of it. That's what it seems to be, allegedly, right? And it's not that difficult to be able to see the wrong in what you say, besides the fact that you open up by calling somebody the B word and calling them stupid, and then say things that are actually stupid. Let's just dig in. So when you start off by saying she's a stupid bee, right? You do that because she's black. You made it a point to say black women can't be this effing stupid, and then no stupid bee. So her blackness is what causes her to be stupid. You can be black, but not be stupid because of the color of your skin, but she is. Little self-hatred coming through. But we can get past that a little bit. When you talk about, though, you say Native Americans wouldn't live in skyscrapers today if it wasn't for the white man. Did you know that Native Americans used to have cities that could house hundreds of thousands, some that could house millions in their cities, to the point when conquistadors, conquerors came over, colonizers came over, they were astonished because places like London and other big cities, Spain, France, etc., could not even imagine having that many persons in a city. Do you know that the Native Americans actually made a concoction? They put together soil that persons today are just finding out how to imitate so that they could make soil, because the soil there was not actually rich enough to grow anything. So they not only made soil, but if you know anything, they made land, put the land on water, and put these huge cities on water to house the millions. But you probably knew that. If you did, it just further proves that you're getting past certain things. Matter of fact, you said that persons would be using spears and stuff like that, and if persons were in Africa, they would be messed up. Problem with this is the first universities in such places as Timbuktu, created by a so-called black woman, existed in Timbuktu, and those universities were repeated what they did there in places like Spain and other places, in 16 places in Europe, before they finally got enough of a hang of it to start trying to do something similar. Now, let's do the reverse though. You say if, right? Let's go out what you said, because you said if so-called black persons, if we were left and if we hadn't been colonized, we would be in a bad place. But question, when persons come to a place and cut the arms off of babies and the legs off of babies because they want their parents to make sure that they dig for rubber better. King Leopold II headed that up, right? When they did stuff like that, did that make the people better? Liberia, that fell apart, when they took persons as slaves who were Native Americans and Africans and threw them back over in West Africa and said, let's see if the people who were taken away from the knowledge of self can figure out how to make something happen. Did that work okay? If they had left so-called black African civilizations alone, and if they had allowed us to grow into who we were supposed to, would it be better if Kemet was led by Kemetic persons who were the first persons to actually know astrology and science and math to the point to where they could build pyramids, and persons still to this day can't figure out how to move the rock, let alone build it? You think that they would have been able to continue to come up with technology? They had lamps in the streets. There are some places in so-called white America that still don't have lamps in their street. Yeah, you're so busy trying to cape up to your boss that you're willing to go ahead and get rid of any sense of truth. And therefore, your value as a human being rots away. Not because you have none, but because you choose to let it rot. If I get an apple from the store, if I don't eat it after a while, no matter how great it is, it at some point will rot. You are not useful to anybody other than persons that will destroy, because you would go on behalf of the persons who have destroyed others and say that communities are better because they've been destroyed, and whatever's left over from the destruction needs to try and make it out. Yeah, you sound like somebody that's disgusting. But however, though, I have a belief that I should pray for you, hope that you get better, and forgive you. I'll pray for you as my enemy, not as my friend. But I'll pray for you. And I pray that you get it together. Because at some point, all the persons that you're willing to go ahead and talk about how great their evil was, and everybody else that can get crumbs or suck on the teat of the beast should be happy about it. At some point, the Most High will come back. And he'll come back looking to protect those who you support the smashing of. And he'll come for the enemies of his people, the ones who you support and fight for.